Hi, I'm Ryan McShane, and I'm here representing Leading Maryland today. I'm the president and CEO of HR Evolution, an organization that's designed to support those in career transition as well as provide leadership development to small to medium-sized businesses. And here today, we're going to be interviewing the president and CEO of HFAM, Joe DeMattos. Joe, how are you today?
Good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for making the time.
Good to see you as well. So, what an honor and a privilege to be able to sit down and talk with you about leadership. You and I have known each other for a number of years now, and in that respect, I've always seen you as such a great mentor, model, and leader. And as a result of that, we really wanted to have this conversation today.
You're really kind. I've been looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate it. So what does make a great leader, Joe?
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. So I think it's not about so much a great leader or a not great leader. It's whether you're an effective leader or an ineffective leader. And effective leadership leaves clues. So in my mind's eye, from experience, effective leaders are effective communicators, which means they are effective listeners. Effective leaders build championship teams. They realize that they can't do it all. They surround themselves with other folks who have different skill sets, all who sort of support one another. And I think probably a really big one is effective leaders look at leadership as a powerful, positive obligation. You know, it's something that we have to do. We have to uplift others, manage change, navigate the process, and more importantly, help other folks, help our teams to really do that work.
Right. Really good perspective on leadership. And so, as a part of that, you obviously didn't come out of the womb knowing all these things and aspects about leadership. What kind of exposures have you had to leadership over the years, and how has that influenced you?
Well, you know, first of all, I was just tremendously blessed by great mentors, right? And I was kind of reflecting today in our conversation, and a bunch of them, you know, were women, and they were from just so many different backgrounds. So this woman in Hawaii that I grew up was a great mentor with me, a woman named Matilda Molina. Just fantastic. She was the first Filipino-American political party leader, chairperson in Hawaii. And, you know, she was just an average person. You know, she wasn't, she didn't have a PhD or a law degree, she was just a caring community leader who was always there and always trying to make a difference. And when I was, a teenager really, Matilda somehow took a liking to me and just made sure that I was in the right places at the right time to observe some incredibly gifted and talented leaders, governors and legislators and the like. So, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation if not for folks like Matilda Molina, who somehow, when I was an 18 or 19-year-old, saw something in me that I didn't even see in me. I think also what drives it is, a recognition early in my life that we have an obligation to do better in our communities, that there are challenges that we collectively face, rights that need to be protected, wrongs that need to be obliterated, and really we don't do that individually. We do that, whether it's a community of 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or thousands, we do that together. And I think that was an important part of my evolution, was recognizing that we all needed to work together to get it right. And then folks that really, a number of them, Matilda being one of them, that looked out for me and put me in the right place to learn.
You bring up a great point that occurs to me when you were speaking about positional leadership and positional power versus what are some of the actions and spirit of leadership in terms of what we're going to do to influence change. And I think that's such a dynamic thing that we need to understand a little bit better, that leadership doesn't just describe to a position, but certainly to some actions and some beliefs and some compassion that are shared for the purposes of influencing positive and evolutionary change.
It's a really powerful observation on your part. So effective leaders have followers, and the most effective leaders are themselves followers. Effective leaders have to know when to lead and when to follow, right? They need to know when to speak and when to listen. It's a dynamic process. And in leadership, you really ultimately, the most effective leaders, they're not granted, by title you are the leader, they're given permission to lead, ultimately by the ecosystem in which they're involved, whether it's a political environment or a business environment, or non-for-profit, or even in a family. I've seen family interactions where it would be assumed that the oldest female or the oldest male or the most educated member of the family would be involved in making a family decision. And I've been around those tables where someone in the family that it wasn't assumed that they would be the leader had the most powerful insight and had the most sort of definitive action steps on how to move forward.
Interesting.
And the group then gave that family member permission to lead. Had you asked the family prior to that interaction, they would say, Fred's not going to be the leader of that, or Janet's not going to be the leader of that. It's going to be Joe or Mike, the guys that are older, the men, the educated folks. And, Fred or Janet comes up with this, they come up with this incredibly insightful idea and a clear vision on the steps that we need to take to make progress. And the group gives them permission to lead. So leadership, when it's most effective, it's not assumed by position or title. It's granted by the ecosystem, the company, the community, the organization, the family, based on a set of shared values and on the belief that that leader has the credibility and an action plan to move everybody ahead.